combo from somewhere else? Ugh, fine. Well, then I'm without a... I have no idea how to get that then. I guess we'll just give Wolf the dynamite. The quest text says, open the old safe. And then give the contents to him. It's like... It's the code on top of the safe? Behind the safe? Click the icon next to the task. This? Oh, shit! The digger who has the flashcard with the veteran's information has set a condition is necessary to crack the old safe first, and then he will share the information with me. Well, there you go. I mean, if it's something that I come back later to, that's fine. But if it's something like, oh, hey, somewhere in this area there's, oh, hell yeah. I found a new hobby. The letters on the safe are the key. OGSE. That's like that's the logo of the mod, right? What does OGSE stand for? Old Good Stalker Evolution. Why 6? It would be 9. Wouldn't it be... Oh, 9, 5E? I don't know, man. I thought OGSE was just like, because that's the name of the mod. Like the version number. Oh. Oh, that's gross. Alright. Stalker, safe, code. 0693. Okay. Old good Stalker. Why is Stalker a 9 instead of a 5? I don't know. This book is the result of a Stalker's creativity regarding the zone and its inhabitants. How was I supposed to get that? Swamp Man! Such are the times. Sometimes you look at what's going on in the world and just want to close your eyes and never open them again. As we say here, let it all go. It's none of our business. We like free stuff. That's our whole Stalker philosophy. As my dead friend Vazia Schwawander said, one Stalker to another is a friend. Free equipment, ammo, and even 70 kilograms of fresh meat. Joke. Heh. Where was I? Aha. Maybe one of... When you're writing down stuff, you don't write where was I. That's not... Ugh. Maybe one of you knew of Kolevia Cherpakov, a local old-timer nicknamed Scoop. He was an experienced stalker. It's a pity that he put profit before anything else and liked to drink a lot. Tell me, who among the stalker fraternity doesn't? So it's true, but that's our Kolya. The scavenger is not what just respected, but let's say preferred amongst all the others. Kolya lived on the outskirts of the bar in an old freight boxcar that once belonged to the watchman. In most cases, he largely traveled alone on raids, but sometimes he took other stalkers with him, acting as a guide, as he was more experienced. Tellingly, our Kolya was often very lucky, especially in terms of finding any new spillikins, as yet undiscovered by science. Do you remember about a year ago, a group led by Gravy brought out a mysterious magnet artifact from the abandoned dungeon in the Dark Valley? That's it. Then do you know who was the guide who led the group? Yes, Sarkolia, Scoop. Do not believe me, whatever, but I saw the photos in his freight car. He, together with Gravy, it's just Gray, and his group in the background, and Gray holding the artifact is just a loopy script that looks like a bee. I'll call him Gravy if I want. Gravy holding the artifact container open so that the magnet was visible. Such things happen in the zone at times, yeah. Where's Gravy and his companions now? Gone to the Canary Islands. Long ago, I suppose, living under palm trees from morning until night, sipping martinis, and our scavenger Kolya is in his boxcar slurping the local moonshine. For, as they say, a drunkard and his money are soon parted. In general, I almost forgot to tell you the most important thing. Well, before the time when Kolvia became a drunkard, he was in general a normal stalker, and in terms of drinking as well, he drank, of course, but only in moderation, and in those days you wouldn't see him waste. All of us respected... What am I reading? All of us respected him for his experience, and therefore took him on long hikes and outings. We were drinking with him once in his freight car. We were just relaxing and talking. He talked about the price of swag. Then I remember we began talking about the local people, and then about our family. That's when we ran out of vodka. Then we sat there in silence. I was starting to plan in my head how to hint Kolvia about another bottle when he tells me gloomily, listen, have you ever heard about the Swamp Man? It's the Swamp Man, Scotty bop boo bop. I think, why would he suddenly begin to remember something nasty? This is starting to become unpleasant. I looked at him in surprise and replied, I've heard about it, but the people love to spread rumors. Why are you telling me about it? Kolya looked at me askance. His eyes were creeping me out. He lowered his head and stared at the table in front of him and replied, because Peta Malark. I saw it a week ago with my own eyes. Well, I thought that's it. That's the start. Our poor Kolya faced delirium tremens. I just tried to be cool. Let him speak out. It helps sometimes. And Kolya, without raising his eyes, began to tell the following. Was that just a prelude to this story? I made my way through the great marshes towards the escape. It was not my first time. I had been in that place sometimes before, but not many, so the terrain was confusing. All I had was an old worn map and a compass to go by. I was trying to recognize some landmarks. There was no soul around, no mutants, no anomalies. It can be said that in the peripheral zone, anomalous activity is almost at zero. No artifacts, and therefore humans as well. Suburbia, in short. What? I looked over at the map. The nearest civilization was another 3 hours away. The nearest civilization is 3 hours away. That's not suburbia. But I didn't lose heart. It was only noon, and I would get there before nightfall. I willed myself to go on. All around was silence. No marsh birds singing or even frogs croaking. Only the rustling of reeds in the wind and the humming of wires of the old telegraph line. The terrain was waterlogged. Zahars, what's up? Terrain was waterlogged. There were no rocks. Just occasionally various landmarks appeared. The old dilapidated boathouse, some concrete columns, the remains of rusty metal structures of unknown purpose. Once I heard from the sound of a passing train coming from far away, but it quickly died down. I moved on when suddenly I noticed out of the corner of my eye something dark in the reeds a few meters to my right. I stopped, walked over, and neatly parted the reeds to see what it was, at the same time unstrapping my double-barreled shotgun in case of danger. I looked and saw there is a boulder with a flat top, a meter in height, in the middle of a large puddle amongst the reeds. And right on this boulder was a large brown chest, iron-bound, with a massive lid, the type you would find only in old rural houses. What? Well, I thought then, who would have had brought it here? Why was it local refugees back in '86, or maybe marauders at a later time? Of course, I wanted to see what was inside, but I wasn't going to barge ahead like some greenhorn. I walked around the chest and checked all the sides. I could see nothing suspicious. I stood in front of it and said to myself, let's try, and then gently used the gun barrel to open the lid, at the same time getting ready to fall behind the boulder. However, I carried on and opened the lid without tricks. I quietly approached it and looked inside. I saw something square wrapped in a piece of old dusty material lying at the bottom of it. I took it out and folded it. It was an icon. It was an icon. It was evident it was very old, maybe 150 years or more, but it was in good condition, not worn. The image wasn't tarnished. It was Jesus! This image of Christ had gilding around the edges and massive gold crosses. What am I reading? Massive gold crosses engraved in the corners of the frame. I immediately estimated how much the trader at Corden would pay for this miracle. I figured it would keep me stably provided for a couple of months. That put me in a good mood. I began to whistle some song as I remember. I put my swag in my backpack and proceeded on my way. I was feeling quite calm as I traveled through the marshes, but suddenly, after half an hour, I noticed, what the hell, I can't remember this place at all. I didn't pass through here last time, so it became clear I didn't notice that I had deviated from my planned route and got lost because of my joy. I scolded myself for my carelessness. Checked the map and returned to the familiar path. I went further. Half an hour later, again I noticed that I didn't recognize the terrain, and then clouds came rolling in. The sun was blocked out, and it was cloudy and began to drizzle. I scanned the entire map, can't find the familiar path. What the hell? The main thing, I precisely remember passing this old rusty metal barrel 5 minutes ago, and now again I was standing beside it. Was I wandering around in circles, or maybe that's another barrel? Shit, I didn't get that. I decided to go all the way north because, according to my calculations, I was surely confident that I could go to the southern farms and from there up to the escape. It shouldn't take more than 2 hours. Time went by. 1 hour, 2, then 3. It was already raining cats and dogs, and then I saw, instead of just noticeable puddles underfoot, it was already becoming a real quagmire. In several places I sank to my knees. Something was wrong. I think I was wandering in the middle of nowhere. Suddenly I heard a sound up ahead like someone sneaking among the reeds, but not like a mutant. These were clearly audible steps like those of humans. I rushed towards the sound. I popped up in a small clearing just in time to see someone in a brown cloak ran behind a wall of reeds. I shouted to the stranger, "Wait a minute, man!" and ran after him. Well, I thought, my good luck hasn't deserted me today. This guy probably knows the way out better than I do. Look how confidently he travels through the marsh without a map. And if he doesn't know, at least getting out of this backwater would be funnier together. So I ran after him, shouting, "Wait, man!" But this man wasn't going to stand still. Without a care, he ran directly across the marsh without stopping, would not turn around to my shouts. Just his back of a brown coat with a hood flashed in front of me. He was very close, about 10 meters away. I was beginning to think that this man was deaf. Then suddenly, bang! I, with all of my belongings, my gun, backpack, and ground sheet, sank chest deep into the quagmire. What was most interesting, a second earlier, this mysterious stranger was at the same place and didn't even sink to his knees, but I got stuck. Solidly, I wiggled my feet and tried to grab stems of the reed, but I was slowly slipping deeper and deeper into the quagmire. It was already up to my neck. I lifted my chin so that at least my face would be above the surface. I wanted to yell out, but I wouldn't. The marsh swill was already looming at my mouth already. At this point, my whole life flashed before me like a short film. All I was about to say goodbye to this world. Suddenly, under my feet, I felt something solid. It appears that it wasn't a bottomless quagmire after all. I stood practically fully immersed in the stinking swamp muck with my hands raised, frantically clutching at the air. That's all I could do. I don't know how long I stood there doing that, but most likely for a long time, because when my right hand finally came across some driftwood and I was able more or less to firmly grasp it, I felt my muscles starting to cramp from the cold. With a huge difficulty, I was barely able to grasp the twig with my other hand, but then with a great effort, shivering and suffering from shock, I crawled out of this quagmire of hell. I just lay there for some time, panting and unable to even scream. Then trembling, I knelt down and tried to stand. My legs were shaking like a newborn calf. I felt myself with numb hands and saw that I have no backpack, no cloak, no gun. All had gone to the bottom of the quagmire. Sweeping aside all unnecessary thoughts, I wandered away, no longer hopeful of reaching civilization before nightfall. Strolling through the bog, not knowing where I was, I tried not to dwell on the failure that befell me, and tried again to recall last year's landmarks. Perhaps, after all, fate had taken pity on me that day, because a few minutes later I saw a large tree in the middle of the clearing of dry reeds. I remembered this tree well, and was very glad to see it, because I knew the road from this tree to the south farm. It was about 6 o'clock when I, being wet and chilled, finally reached the farm, where familiar stalkers warmed me and even fed me freshly brewed cran stew in front of from the fire. I spent the night with them, and the next day I went to the cordon. I spoke to the people there about the events that happened to me, omitting, however, about finding the old icon. Many of them just nodded their heads sympathetically. Some began to speculate about the marsh gases that cause hallucinations in humans. Only one old tramp, you could say almost an old man, began stroking his gravy beard, and said that I had met none other than the swamp man himself. I began to ask him, who's that? The old man told the following story. Once upon a time... Oh, great! Okay, so... Here, I need you to retrieve this book, or what's in this freaking... Okay, no, back up. Your quest is to get... Here's a diary that was in a cache. Okay, no, so we have to back up further. There exists a dead man. No, that's back up further. Hold on. In camp, there's a man. He's dying. And he's being tended by a Healy man. When you have to give the man a rock to make him become healed enough that he can tell you that there's a diary that has the location of a crazy treasure in it. And then you tell that to the healer man, and you go get it, and the healer man steals it and tells you to go get him another relic to trade for it. And then you kill the healer man, and then you... go get the journal, and that journal tells you of this treasure where these people found a map that they encoded into a digital file that they then split onto 5 flash drives and scattered them about the world. And then so you go after each part of them, and the first one is held by a man. I need food. The first one is held by a man... The first one is held by a man called Digger, who is in an abandoned house. He's trying to open a safe. The safe can be unlocked by typing in the version number of the game. Okay, inside the safe there's a book. The book tells the story of a person who had a dead friend No, not dead friend. The person writing the book tells of a person named Kolya, nicknamed Scoop, who was drinking with a person, and that person oh, no, okay, the person is Kolya. Okay, so his drinking buddy told him the story of him going into the forest, finding in a box, like, the head of Jesus, like on a plaque or something, you know, some sort of religious inscription of Jesus's head. And also there's a swamp man. I don't know. And then he's gonna go back to the camp after sinking into the thing and running from the swamp, or, you know, running after the swamp man. And then he's gonna get told another story. There's like, yeah, no, I get it. But it's just, what the fuck? There's too many layers to this. Okay. I don't need... The person writing this book... his drinking buddy told him this story of him going into the forest and finding, you know, this picture of Jesus Christ running from a swamp man, then going back to town and having another story being told to him. There's too many layers. The old man told the following story. Once upon a time, before the accident, people lived and worked here in the swamp. Basically, they worked at the pumping station, the ruins of which are still in the middle of the swamp, and simple fishermen hunting for fish in a swamp which is not so shallow back then. They lived in small villages like the one located in the south, or the northern one which burnt down immediately after the Chernobyl accident. So at one of these villages was a small wooden church. Its only inhabitant was the church guardian, Father Ignatius. Despite its location, the church was famous for the fact that it had a very old and very beautiful icon with the image of Jesus Christ. During the Soviet era, many of the remaining believers secretly came here to pray. The Marsha talks about as a cut area that the mod put back in. Oh, cool. During the Soviet era, many of the remaining believers secretly came here to pray to the famous image, especially during religious holidays. How the icon found itself in an old farmstead chapel in the suburbs is not known for certain, but it has been rumored that it came here after the prohibition of religion and the campaign for the destruction of religious symbols back in the 50s and 60s. At the same time the Chernobyl disaster happened, a sad and strange event occurred during the evacuation of this area. There were a few people here, you could almost count them on the fingers on your hands. The elderly Father Ignatius didn't want to desert the church and stayed here alone. He spent the night in a small house in the corner of the courtyard of the church and lived mostly on the crops which he grew. One dark rainy autumn night he heard a noise outside the church. He looked out the window and saw two people in black cloaks trying to break in through the shabby church door to pilfer the icon and other things. What happened next nobody knows. Apparently Ignatius decided to confront the group of looters alone. He had no doubt who they were, because at that time a gang was looting everywhere. The priest had never had any weapons, and exactly what he was going to use to fend off the intruders remains unclear to this day. The next morning, when the locals decided to pay a visit to the church, they saw that all the doors were open and all the most valuable items, including the icon, had disappeared. The famous golden face of Christ was no longer there. They didn't find Father Ignatius or the marauders nearby, but the people found some footprints leading directly into the swamp. Volunteers followed these tracks, but soon ran into a deep and impassable quagmire where the tracks disappeared. Since then, it's presumed Father Ignatius is either dead or missing. The police also took part in the search, which, however, didn't produce... So he sold his soul to the devil and protected the thing. Didn't produce any results. Over time, the people would have forgotten about the lone guardian of the old church, but one incident occurred here a few years ago. There's no one left here, even though this territory has not yet become part of the zone. An inveterate poacher managed to get in here somehow, because in those days it was still possible to earn a decent amount of fowl. The hunter entered the reeds in search of fowl and returned only after a week. Stripped of all his gear, smeared in bog mud, starved and without weapons. Locals had already started to search for him. They questioned this poacher, and he's told the story of being lost in the swamp at twilight, and then met a man in a raincoat who led him through the swamp for a long time and eventually led him into the wilderness where the hunter failed to escape. For a week he wandered through the swamp, surviving only on his meager booty. Surviving on his meager booty until finally finding some people. What was that strange man? One could not imagine. At first everyone thought it was a hunter, just one of the remaining old-timers, but someone remembered about Father Ignatius. Then people began to notice, a lone silhouette wandering sometimes through the reeds and the marshes. From then on, they called him the Swamp Man Ignatius. Then Kolya went silent and wouldn't answer any more of my questions. He just looked sadly out the window and twisted the empty glass in his hands. First I decided to bring another bottle of vodka, but then he changed his mind. Apparently Kolya was marked by the zone in that swamp. After that incident, I saw him on very rare occasions. Scoop began to drink more and more, and someday was found dead in his freight car. Igor Utkin, our local doctor and healer, said it was a heart attack. That's the way it was, my dear stalkers. Let our Kolya rest in peace. In principle, he was a good stalker. His whole life he wouldn't hurt a fly. Yes, except that he had one trait. He was very fond of money. However, we must speak good of the dead fellows. Therefore, my story ends here. As they say, the tale provides the hint, and what you learn from it is the key. I wish you well, stalkers, and remember the old man. And then there's Jekan Lyman 2012. There was a demon noise out there. Also, how long has it been night? Holy Christ. Are demons out there?
Сколько можно ждать?
I will put away my gun for you, sir. I opened the safe. What was in there? There was only this book. A book, and nothing like gold or jewels. No, just the book. Damn, if I knew I wouldn't have bothered. How about the veteran's flash drive? Yes, Vaskar Podet Patron. My assistant has it. He's at the garbage near the duty checkpoint. Go see him. Keep the book. How's life in general? Fine, recently I bought myself a new shooter. A necessary item to have, and then some, especially for someone like me. Here, look, this is an upgraded Kalashnikov PKMS machine gun. Cool, of course, but why do you need an instrument? You're just a digger. What do you know about guns? See, here's a new 6T5 Stepanov machine gun tripod. Special straps for securing magazines with ammunition belts, brackets on the legs of the machine gun for attaching magazines for use in combat situations. Has the ability to use for anti-aircraft fire. In addition, it's also 3 kilos lighter than the previous models. Yes, I see that you really love guns, but why are you hiding it and not keeping it at the ready? You see, a calamity happened recently. I handed over my gun to a local amateur gunsmith for an additional upgrade. Well, he broke it? That's sad. Yeah, by the way, do you want to earn some money? If you help me and take it to get repaired, I'll tell you a secret. What secret? Something about the design of the locking mechanism? It would be cheaper to read a book about it. Well, it's like, what the fuck? Where the plot threads are very loopy. It's like, what? It's not like, hey, go repair my gun. I need you, can you repair my gun? Where do you want me to take your weapon? Like, he couldn't have just said, recently I bought myself a new shooter. We had to go through all this crap. I'll tell you about a very strange anomaly which I found in a cave. One I have never seen before. Where do you want me to take your weapon? When you get to the bar, go to the building where the arena is located. Ooh. To the right of the entrance, sitting alone in a small room, you'll find a stalker who definitely will be drunk. If he's asleep, then wake him up and hand him the gun. Tell him if he doesn't fix it, he'll get no more from me. Got it? Oh. Freaking. What? Yeah, let's do that then. The gun is in my inventory and it is heavy. Okay. What's in the garbage? He can be found at the bar. Alright, well, guess we're going then. Is this some sort of demon? Binoculars should outline... Oh, shit. I don't know what my binocular hotkey is. Motherfucker. I'm just looking. We're just seeing what's over here. There's nothing on these bodies. This is just death. Alright. You want me to get the cache on the other side of the tracks first? Alright. I'll do that. Are binoculars 5? Maybe? Or is that grenade? They are 5. Alright, cool. Man, I lose stamina real fast with this much carry. Wait, do I have any other tasks for this area? I have like a ton of tasks. I have to bring vodka to this guy. Do I... Oh, I am over capacity, you're right. Can I not come back? How much over capacity can I carry? I'm gonna walk into here. Oh, it's one of those. Hey, are you a friend? Oh yeah, you're this guy. It's interesting, the day-night cycle. It has been quite a while. There's an anomaly right there. Body is made of metal. Gets tired. Alright, we'll go sleep in that house over there in a minute. We're almost at this. It's like ahead of us a little bit. Ah, here we go. Is that the stash? Wow, that was pretty bad. So now we'll go back to that house with the dude in it. Because that was designated as a home. And then I guess we'll go back to the main camp area. Some good ambient noises.
Сколько можно ждать?
All right, now we take a nap. Ooh.
S.T.A.L.K.E.R.
Say hello to my little friend. Vermintide. Maybe I should hard save, huh? Save game. Sleepy boy. Alright, time to walk all the way back. Maybe I should kill these dudes. Seek cover, the blowout's approaching every minute. Don't shoot me. That's not what I wanted. Trying to be sneaky here, not... Not playing, playing my harmonica. I don't like this wind. Are you gonna create a artifact for me? Those are bolts. How did... It went off like by itself. Shit. Yeah, get out of here. Cross-country walks. Better not be coming back. I will light you up. Anybody who finds any musical records, bring them to the barkeep. Wait, shit. Where the fuck am I? Oh. This is the bandit camp. Who the hell is that guy? Those 3 guys. Those 6 guys. What the fuck? Got some burgers and fries going on over there. These guys, I'm assuming they're bad. Oh! Yeah, that's a grenade. Jesus, dude. There's like 6 dudes. I am over encumbered. This might be a sniper rifle situation. I don't know. I need a scope on my sniper rifle. Can I put the 4 times on it? Shit, did they hear me? No available slot. Oh, fuck. I don't have any cover. Took off my frickin' scope. Shit. Yo, dog, you gotta help me out. Oh my god. How do they see me instantly that time? What's that all about? I think I also need to stop streaming. my god. So many of them. We might have to skirt around the edge of them. Going crazy. Like, this many dudes could take out the camp. No, you don't see me. Shit. Motherfucker. He was flanking. Oh, I'm gonna be so overloaded. There's still one more man out there somewhere. PDI updated with some stuff. I can't take it all. Alright. I gotta drop, like... We got some guns back here. Is that the last guy? That was a lot of dudes. Got some pigs and dogs. Oh god, don't jump. It's finally becoming day again. Oh good, the game crashed. Excellent. Alright, well I think that's a great place to stop. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Appreciate the help, Pawn. I'm enjoying myself. Lots of walking back and forth, though. I'll see you later. Beyond tonight. It's D&D night tonight. Be here at like 8 if you can. I'll try and be here at 8. I don't know what time I'll be here, though. It might be up to 9. I'll try and be here by 8, though. Space D&D. Have a good night, everybody. Or day, or whatever.